All right. Does anybody know what Git is? Nope.
A version control system.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Yep. So how is, there's Git, there's GitHub. What is the difference between Git and GitHub? For example, what is GitHub?
GitHub is an online repository.
Yep.
Git is the system.
Yep. So, yep. GitHub is an online repository of where you store your code. There's other things other than GitHub. There's GitLab. That's essentially like GitHub. It's the same thing as GitHub. There's GitLab, Azure DevOps, which is ran by Microsoft. They have their own online repository saving system. And then there's Git. So GitHub is all online, essentially an online application to store your code. Git is how you store different versions of your code on your local machine. So it's GitHub's an online application. Git is how you essentially only on your local machine is how you store different versions of your code. So So what is Git? Git is a version control system, track file changes, who's responsible for changes made, backup and restore work, undo mistakes, allow for easier collaboration, and give freedom to add new features. So why do you need a version control system? So think of like an author. Like if you're an author and you're writing a book, so you finish a couple of chapters and then you email it off to your editor and your editor starts making changes, but you're still writing chapters like 3, 4, and 5 while they're editing like 2, 3, or 1, and 2. And then like, how do you track what is the final, like what's the actual, like that version of the book you're writing? Same thing with like writing papers. If you've ever collaborated on like a presentation in a group in college or in high school or anything, if you have like a presentation or a paper you're having to write, like how do you manage all those different versions that people are like making edits to or like adding on paragraphs? It's kind of different. You essentially have to like save a new version of it. So now you have like a folder with like version 1, version 2, like Tom's version, Emily's version, Meryl's version type of thing. Same thing you can do with like resumes. Like how many different versions of a resume do you have? Do you only have one version? Because technically you're supposed to send out a specifically different resume to every employer. You're supposed to, tailor your resume to your employee, to the specific place you're applying to. So I used to always be like Tom Preet's resume and just send it off to like the employer. But then I'm like, oh, well, now I have to make a change to it. So now I have like a different version of Tom Preet's resume. So over like I learned the hard way is like maybe I should have like a centralized master resume with absolutely everything I've ever done and like pick and choose and make a new resume for like resume Amazon resume, resume for Code Platoon, resume for whatever company I want. And that's like a different version of it. So I save a different version of like my master resume. And I only pick and choose what parts of my resume that I want to use for that specific company. And so let's see what else. So a Git visualization consists of like different save points. Essentially, they're different save points. Let's keep going. Okay. Yep. So at my last company, we had our master branch. So as you've been seeing in, CD. Desktop. So as you've like been seeing in our like CD 99 bar def grandma, we have this master. This is like the master code of the application. If I wanted to create a new feature off of my master branch, or if I wanted to create a feature, say it's like, for example, at my last job, one of the things I had to create was like a drop-down select filter for a like a community. So if I wanted to make that change, I wouldn't work directly on the master branch. I wanted to create a separate branch for like a new feature branch. So here's the green is like indicating the master branch. So anytime you want to make changes to the master, always create a new branch, because you never want to make changes directly to the master, because the master is like the single source of truth for your code base. And you never want to change, like directly change that, because what if you mess it up and now your production code is broken and now your users or clients are unhappy and then you get fired because of your incompetence, like type of thing. So you always want to make branches when you're developing new features. And what that does is, so for example, here I need to create a select drop-down, a drop-down filter for, whether it's a community or some, data analytics, or maybe it's a calendar, whatever it is. So I want to create a new branch, and that to create a new branch is literally the command git checkout -b, and then the name of my branch name, which is like a new branch, new feature branch or something. Well, new feature, yeah, like a new branch. And that you want to describe your branch as kind of like what you're using, like what you're actually building. And so what that does is it keeps your separate work not conflicting with any other, like the actual master branch or someone else's work, for example. So each one of these little circles like indicates a save point or a commit. I know I kind of covered it yesterday, like a git commit. So that's what like a Git visualization and like what Git branching is and what the importance of it. Does anybody have any question of Git version or Git branching and why we create branches?
And are you doing that git checkout / or -b in your terminal?
Correct. So it's on your local machine, on your local terminal, and we're gonna go over it and kind of show you. So for example, like I'm writing code, I come up here, I'm developing a new feature branch, and then someone finds a bug in the code base. And so they create a feature, they created someone else's branch, like a QA, like someone else creates a separate branch to fix that bug. And while they're fixing that bug, I merge my new branch into the master branch. We're going to do that later. And so when this person goes to merge theirs into master, like this code is different. Sorry. This person's code is now different than the original master's, because now the master has my new code in it. So now this person is merging their code into a master branch that was different than what they originally had. And they're able to merge that code only if there aren't any merge conflicts. That's actually like a technical term. There's no merge conflicts. That means this person's code and this person's code doesn't overlap. There's nowhere in the code base where the files overlap or the code actually overlaps. And if they do try to merge and there are conflicts, it'll throw an error, be like, hey, there's a merge conflict here. Please resolve these merge conflicts. And you can do that by literally going into, like, there's an actual UI, like, okay, here are the merge conflicts. This code is different from this code. Which kind of code do you want? Do you want this code or do you want this code? Or you can get together with the other person, be like, hey, we have a merge conflict. Let's talk through of what the best way to approach this conflict is. This like actual merge conflict. What features can we get rid of, or what code can we get rid of, or what code can we adjust to make it no longer conflict with one another? And as I said, each one of these little dots consists of like a save point or a snapshot in time of your code. And you can do that. You can save your code, not by just doing Command S or Control S. That just like saves it to your computer. But you actually want to save a specific version of your code in time in Git. And we kind of did this yesterday. So you have your working directory where you're actually writing your code and you're saving your files locally, but it's actually not officially stored or saved in Git yet. That version isn't. And in order to do that, there's a two-step process. You have to first identify what files you want to actually save and put them into a staging area. And that is by this command here, git add period, which adds everything that's changed, or you can actually do like a single file, whoop, oh no. You can do like git add, which is like adds everything, or you can do like file.js, which adds a very specific file that you want to add. But for most of the time right now, for all intents and purposes, we just add everything because it's easier and we don't really have a whole lot of merge conflicts or a whole lot of reason not to do it. And it's just kind of easier to do.
And when it says everything, is it everything that's in that directory or in that?
Everything that's in that application, in that Git application, anything that Git software is applied to. So we're going to initialize a new GitHub repository, or Git, essentially initialize a new Git. So everything in that application that you initialize the Git with, anytime you press add, like everything, this .add, it adds everything that you changed within that Git repository. So yeah, this git add just adds everything that you've changed within that Git repository. So that just adds it to the staging area. It's like, okay, the stuff is ready to stage and it's ready to actually save. And once you're ready to actually save it, that's where you do a git commit, which is literally just this command followed by and then like some message. So it's git commit -m, which stands for message, I think, and then some message regarding the commit, like something that you've changed. So you could be like, I finished the feature, or like finished drop down select, or changed font, or changed button color from blue to red, type of thing. So you do git add and then git commit. And those are like kind of technical terms, like, hey, did you commit that yet? People will ask you that. Hey, did you commit your code yet? And then here are some other things. Here are some other commands that are good to know. Git init initializes a new Git repository. We have yet to do that because all our projects, all the challenges that you've cloned down already have a Git repository, or it's already has the Git software installed. There's already versions of it. We have git checkout -b new branch. This is I wouldn't say that. That's like the name of the branch. So that makes more sense, which creates a branch of code separate from the branch you were originally on. So if I'm originally on this branch and I do git checkout, checks out another branch, it will create like another branch, like a tree. It starts to create like a tree. We do git status that checks the status of Git. We have git add, that period adds all changed files to the staging area. Git commit message, commits new code to the Git repository. Git checkout new feature, which is switches to an already existing branch. So you can have an already existing branch of code and you can check out that branch. And we're gonna go through all this. We have git merge new feature branch, which merges the code on like the new branch, the new feature branch, to the branch you're currently on. So if I'm currently on master and I say git merge new feature branch, it's going to merge all the code from the new feature branch onto the master branch. And then git pull updates your branch with the most up-to-date code on the branch you're currently on. So because there might be multiple people working on the same branch and committing code to that branch, so you might not have the most up-to-date code. And if you just type git pull, it will pull all that new code down onto your local machine. So let's go through this and create let's go through this. All right. CD. Cool. Does anybody have any questions about Git?
I had kind of a general question on slide 3. Like let's say so you're blue and you're working on a function that takes an input,
Yep.
and then the orange guy, he's actually modifying whatever the input you're taking in. How do you guys reconcile like that he's not screwing up what you're expecting to see?
Right. Yep. So this person is writing some code that takes some input, right?
Yeah.
And then this person's writing some code that modifies that input at some point in the application.
Right, but you guys are working separately according to that branch.
Right. So that's where you would get together and be like, hey, you'd actually like sit down in your stand-up or before your stand-up and be like, hey, let's architect this thing out. It's like, I'm going to create a thing. I'm going to create an application that takes in a user input, and that user input is going to have a variable named, XYZ, or called get user input. And that variable is going to be used throughout the application. So anytime you want to modify that user input, just use the variable name get user input, something like that. Okay. For this person down here. That happens a lot. Like especially when you're transitioning from front end to back end, you're sending data back and forth. Like you'll have a front end person. Like for example, I was working on like a front end feature. I was building components on the front end of my last job, and my CTO, he was sending data to the front end. He's like, hey, just here's the type of data you're expected to see. It should be an object. It should have these keywords in it. So now I have like a template of what that data should look like on the front end. So I can just like make some dummy data my component, my feature knows what kind of data to expect. So we're working on 2 different branches, but when we merge together, because we've communicated how the data flow should look and what like the data types should consist of, it kind of like there shouldn't be any conflicts. And if they are, they're very minimal.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
And Tom, in that scenario that Jason just described, that should raise a merge conflict, right? In the case where the blue person and the orange person branched at exactly the same time to work on 2 independent features. They both modified the same lines. One of them merges back into the repository and the master first. The other one tries to merge back into the master, and then Git should stop it, right? It should say, hey, you have a merge conflict with something, and then that's where you were picking up off of is when they should get together and then fix.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So like you won't be able to merge code together without if there is a merge conflict. It'll like error, like not error, but like warning, there's a merge conflict. What do you want to do about this? You can't just be like, well, just merge it. Like it doesn't know how to merge it because there's a conflict somewhere. They're like, oh, well, we don't know which one to override. So
there's one other scenario though, right? Where if let's say the blue person merges back into master, but then the orange person first like fetches and pulls whatever master's current state is and then changes it.
Well, yeah.
then there wouldn't be a merge conflict, and then you would override whatever that person did.
Correct.
But you would have to like not be paying attention, I think, for that.
Yeah, and there'd be a lot of, and that would just be like a breakdown of communication as a dev team. All right, let's go through this. Code platoon. Code.
So that sounded like maybe a case there. So if you're 2 people working on the same thing and you branch off in different directions, you do not, it sounds like it's counterproductive to download the latest version before you recommit back, because you'll miss that merge check. Sounds like, right? You should stay with the version you pulled initially until you remerge it. Is that?
It depends if you actually want to, if your code is dependent on someone else's code as well. So it just depends on the specific feature you and your team are working on. Like I would never, like in my last job, our code base was huge. So I never actually get pulled in the middle of something unless I needed the most up-to-date code for my feature to work. All right. So I'm in here, I'm in Lima Platoon, challenges, curriculum. I'm just gonna make a directory called Git practice. Clear CD into Git practice. I'm gonna touch test git.js. So here's my test git.js file. And I just want to create just an easy console log. Hello, Lima Platoon, period. So notice how when you've been cloning down stuff from Lima Platoon GitHub, it had this master thing next to it on the other ones, but here it does not, because we'll see this. So right now I'm not actually saving. This isn't a Git repository yet. So the first thing I need to do is initialize this application, this test Git file, as a Git repository. So I'm just going to list. So right here, I've got this test JS. This Git practice is not a Git repository yet. If I need to, I can run this command, git init. I do git init. It says initialize empty Git repository in users, and this is the path to this GitHub repository. So notice that it says git practice, which I'm here, and then it says .git. But .git doesn't show up because it's a hidden file. But if I list everything, so I still only have this test git.js, but if I list all the hidden files, git install these directories. You don't really have to know about these at all right now, but just know that git install them, don't delete them. They're here for Git. This is what saves all the versions of your GitHub. So I just initialize a Git repository, but I haven't actually saved it. This is all I have right now. I'm still in my working directory. I haven't saved this console log, Lima Platoon, node test Git. So I haven't actually saved this to the Git directory. So I need to add it to the staging area first. So I need to do git add. Now I can do I always do git status. So I get added, added everything. Then I want to do git status just to see what I changed. Status. So it says I'm on the master branch, no commits yet. So I haven't committed anything yet to this Git repository. Changes to be committed. I am adding a new file, and that file is called testgit.js. So I'm only in the staging area. I haven't actually saved it yet. I haven't actually saved it yet, or made a snapshot in time. In order to do that, I do git commit -m. It stands for message. And usually the very first commit you make for a GitHub or Git repository is just like initial commit. And so when I do that, you're going to see right here, see how there's no master yet, but it says I'm on the master branch, but I haven't actually committed anything yet. I haven't saved anything yet. If I git commit, initial commit, notice how it says one file changed, one insertion. So I've changed one file, test git, and I've added one thing. Now it says create mode, test git, but now look at it, it says master. So now I'm actually I've committed something, and now I can start tracking everything. What questions do you have?
So this has made a Git on GitHub right now, a repository?
Nope. So this is just on your local machine. We haven't pushed anything up. We haven't uploaded anything up to GitHub. So this just saves versions on your local machine. And GitHub, we will push that. We will push stuff to GitHub after this. So I'm going to clear here.
Challenges. We want to make a branch of it.
We will. Yep. So we'll get to that. So now I want to say console log, what's up? Oh. Does that work? Nope. Just run this node test git. Cool. So I made a change. I'm still working on master right now, but it's okay for right now, just for all intensive purposes. But now I want to make a commit to again. So I want to save this, git add everything, git status. So I've got modified, git commit. So it's added to the staging area. Now I want to say added what up. One file changed, one insertion. Oh, cool. So now, so I've made 2 commits, right? But what if I'm like, oh crap, I didn't want to do that. Now how do I like revert back? So I can actually go git log, and I can see all the commits I've made. So here's my initial commit right here. And here's the other commit, added what up. It says the time, who did it, everything like that. And you have this big hash right here. So watch up here what I do. Watch this code change. If I wanted to go back to my old commit, I can do git checkout and then add this. And watch. See how it changed? And it says, no, your head is detached, and it says head detached at F3, whatever. That just means that I'm not at the very root, like the most recent commit. Now, in order to get back there, I can do git checkout master. And it's going to take me back to the very most recent commit. And this code is going to change back to saying what up right there. But as I said before, you should never be directly changing master branch. So for example, I instead of just console logging what up here, I want to actually put this into a function saying like a hello function that says like, hey, how's it going? So I want to create a branch off of master. So I can check out, git checkout -b new branch. So I can do git checkout -b, and then this is the name of my branch. Make hello function. And now see what happened. It said, it went git checkout -b make hello function. And it says switch to new branch, make hello function. And look at it. It says instead of being on my master, I'm now on the make hello function branch. So now I'm on this branch. I can say like const hello. This is an arrow function. It's just another way of writing a function. And I want to move this into here. Cool. So I created a new feature, and now I want to. Now I need to change it, or I need to commit it. Or first I need to add it to the staging area and then save it, which git commit it. But first I want to see what branches there are. Because you have this master and I've got this make hello function branch. If I do git branch, it lists all the branches associated with this Git repository. And it also states what branch I'm currently on, which is the make hello function. So I want to git commit this. I want to git add and then git commit. Git add, git status. So on branch make hello function changes to be committed. I'm modifying this test git. Now I want to git commit completed hello function. And then it says make hello function completed hello function. So one file change, 4 insertions, 1 deletion. Great. Now I can do git log. Here are all my git commits. So I've got, these were added to the master branch. And this one was added to the make hello branch, which is the head, which is what I'm currently on. So I'm currently on the make hello branch or make hello function branch. Now I want to merge this branch into the master. So merges code on new feature branch to the branch you're currently on. So I'm currently on make hello, but I don't want to merge this into the make hello function branch. I want to merge this into master. So I have to switch to the master branch. In order to do that, I do git checkout master. And now watch this code change to the old way, the old code. Cool. So now I'm on the master branch. So now I need to merge the new or make hello function branch into the master. I can do that by when I git branch, just to make sure. All right, so I'm on the master. I'm going to copy this make hello function branch. I'm going to git merge make hello function and watch this code change. So it says fast forward, git test or test git added 5 lines, or there's 5 changes. Those pluses are actual like lines of code. 1 file change, 4 insertions, 1 deletion. That's that. What questions do you have?
Hey, Tom, I have a quick question.
Yep.
Can you explain the difference or the use cases for merge versus a pull request? Like, do they do the same thing or?
No, so a pull request takes code on, like, so it's kind of hard to do it here, but if someone else was working on the same branch as me and was committing code, and if I wanted to pull that code down to my branch, I'm not merging it in, because merging is, I would say, like, you merge your code into another branch. So you're pulling existing code into your current branch.
So the merge that you just did is only local. You haven't changed like the actual master on GitHub.
Yeah, like this has nothing to do with GitHub specifically. This is just all on your local machine.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. So yeah, git merge just merges one branch into another. Git pull pulls code that exists on your branch that you don't have on your local machine.
I had a question.
So Tom, oh sorry.
Sorry about that. I was just going to ask about like Git Ignore. What types of files would we put in there to ignore? I know that's an option.
Yeah, you can pretty much put anything in there. I mean, best practices is like anything that you don't want, like node modules. You don't want that entire directory in there. Any secret keys, any files that you don't want exposed. You want to put in a Git Ignore file, and we're going to get to that when we go up there. All right.
So just for clarification, Tom, is this the history and the log? When you push the whole repository onto GitHub, you still see the same history that you did on your local directory as well,
Yep.
right?
Yep. So like in all these challenges that you're cloning, you can do git log, and you can see all the commits that all the different commits over the past like year or so, or like few years of like that either I made changes or John made changes or Noah made changes. You can see all of them, and you can even revert back to them. But yeah. All right. With that, I'm going to cd. I'm going to push. So this is all on our local machine, but I want to push code up to clear. I want to push my solutions to GitHub of what I did this morning. So I've got cd 99 bottles. So when I go into 99 bottles, see how it goes into master, because there's already a GitHub repository initialize. I didn't have to do git init when we cloned it. There was already one there. I can do git log, and you can see all this stuff. Like all, and if I keep going down, you can see all these commits from that way back when. Initial commit was 2017. So I want to add my solution. Hold on. I'm going to open that up into a new window, and then I'm going to add my solution. CD 99 bottles, ls, git. So here's my 99 bottles. I've got my pseudocode. I also have like a recursion version of it, if you want to see it. So git add everything, git status. There's my 99 bottles modified, git commit, m, instructor solution. Cool. Now I actually want to push it to GitHub. So I do git push origin master. And I know I said never work off of master, but just all for intensive purposes for this challenge, I am. But I would get, if I were you, I would get used to creating branches and working off of branches. Git push origin master. And cool. Now if I go to GitHub, Tom Preet, 99 bottles, you can see I just pushed this solution right here. Now next, I want to make a pull request. So now my stuff is stored. I want to make a pull request. New pull request in Tom Preet. I want a base repositories Lima Platoon. So I'm pushing, like I'm requesting to pull this my code into Lima Platoon because I'm in Lima and I'm making a pull request. I'm going to pull my solution into here. Instructors. And then this is my solution and create pull request. Checking for, so right here, that's where it says, that's where it's looking for merge conflicts. Luckily there aren't any, and I could merge, I don't want to merge it. But so now my solution is there. We got other people's solutions. Let's do this again. Let's do it with def grandma. So def grandma, I did node modules as well. So I had to install that prompt package. I could either create a Git Ignore file, which is a file that I put specific stuff in that I don't want to be pushed up to GitHub. So first I want to get, do you guys want to see me do a Git Ignore file, or do you want me to just push the single solution? So I can, all right. So I'm going to create a Git Ignore file, which is literally just a file that you put stuff in that you don't want to push up to GitHub. So what that looks like is touch.gitignore. So really, it's literally just saying, hey, hey, Git, ignore all this stuff that's in this file. Don't push it up. So I'm doing touch, and it's .gitignore. So if you Google .gitignore file, you can kind of see what that looks like. See how it shows up here? So luckily we installed some VS Code extensions, and it's called icon. So here's my Git Ignore file. And what do I want? What don't I want in here? I don't want to push up all this stuff. This is all a bunch of stuff I don't want to push up to GitHub. I can either put it in my Git Ignore file by doing, I think I can just put node modules. It's literally just type what you want to not, and I don't want to put in this package .lock.json. So I don't want to include Git Ignore. So notice how when I type this in here and I press saved it, Now node modules and the package.json is like grayed out because it knows that only these files are going to get pushed up. Only readme, defgramma Python, defgramma JS, and ignore. If I undo that and save it, now package.json is highlighted again. But I don't want to include that. Great. So I can do git add because I want to add everything to the staging area. When I commit it, list everything or status. Git status. So your branch is up to date with the origin master, changed to be committed. I added a new file, which is that Git Ignore file, and I modified the defgramma.js file, which has the solution. I can git commit message instructor solution. Now I can git push origin master. So if I go to GitHub again, go down to defgramma, you can see I just pushed that up and look at the git ignore file is in there. That's okay, as long as that node modules is not in there. So now I want to make a new pull request because I want to submit my code. And I'm in the Lima Platoon defgramma, and I'm requesting to pull my code into the Lima. So create a pull request. This is my solution. Create pull request. And there you go. Checking for merge conflicts, no conflicts with the base branch, good. I'm going to stop the recording right there.